Hey there, you on the other side of the screen. Welcome to a moment that could change the way you see your life. Today, we're diving into a powerful journey, guided by the timeless wisdom of Psalm 27 and the practical teachings of Napoleon Hill, the master of success. Have you ever woken up with a heavy heart, worried about the future, wondering if doors will open, if money will stretch far enough, if your dreams will ever come true? If that sounds familiar, this video is for you. Because even when everything feels dark, there's a light that never goes out, and it's shining inside you. Picture this for a moment. What if, instead of fear, you could live with courage? What if, instead of anxiety, you could find peace? What if, instead of feeling stuck, you could take the first step toward making your dreams a reality? Today, we're going to explore how Psalm 27 isn't just a prayer, it is a blueprint for victory. We'll break down each verse and turn them into practical steps you can apply right now to transform your life. And we'll weave in Napoleon Hill's principles of success, because faith and action go hand in hand. So get ready, grab a notebook, a pen, or just open your heart. This isn't just a video, it's an invitation to a deep transformation. Before we start, I've got a simple but powerful challenge for you. In the comments below, write the phrase, "The Lord is my light." That's your declaration that you choose to live by faith, not fear, by action, not doubt, by light, not darkness. Are you ready? Take a deep breath, and let's dive into this journey together. Let S kick things off with the verse that sets the foundation for everything. The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear? Psalm 27:1. Pause for a second and let those words sink in. How many times have you felt like darkness was closing in? Maybe it's the bills piling up, a job that drains you, a relationship that's fallen apart, or a dream that feels further away every day. We've all been there. Darkness isn't just the absence of physical light, it's that heaviness in your heart, that voice in your mind whispering that you won't make it. But here's the good news. Psalm 27 reminds us that even in the chaos, there's a light that never fades. When David wrote these words, he wasn't in a season of peace. He was surrounded by enemies, facing real threats with an uncertain future. Yet he declared, "The Lord is my light." This isn't just a comforting phrase, it's a game-changing mindset. It's like turning on a flashlight in the darkest night. It doesn't remove every obstacle, but it lights up the next step. Napoleon Hill, in his studies on success, said something that ties right into this. Faith is the chemical element that, when mixed with thought, sparks creative action. Think about that. Faith isn't passive. It's the fuel that propels you forward, even when you can't see the whole path. It's the mental clarity that keeps you from sabotaging yourself. Without faith, you hesitate. Without clarity, you get lost. But with the light of Psalm 27, you find direction. How can you apply this today? 1. Affirm your faith every morning. When you wake up, before anything else, declare with conviction, "The Lord is my light and my salvation." Say it out loud, even if your mind resists. This affirmation plants a seed of strength in your heart. 2. Confront your fears with truth. Grab a piece of paper and list the fears holding you back. Fear of failure, fear of not having enough money, fear of not being good enough. Next to each one, write a biblical truth or principle of faith that counters it. For example, "I am scared I won't pay my bills" can be answered with, "God is my provider, and he will meet all my needs." Philippians 4:19. 3. Take one small intentional step. The light doesn't demand that you see the entire road ahead, it only illuminates the next step. Today, do something, however small, that moves you closer to your goal. Write that email, make that call, start that project. Action ignites the light. David won because he chose light over darkness. Napoleon Hill taught that mental clarity is the starting point for any achievement. And you? Will you let fear dim your light? Or will you decide today that your faith will shine brighter? Let's move to the next chapter. Now let's dive into another powerful part of Psalm 27. The Lord is the strength of my life, of whom shall I be afraid? Psalm 27:1. Have you ever stopped to think about what it means to have an inner fortress? It's not a castle made of stone or something you can see with your eyes. It's a strength that rises within you, keeping you steady, even when everything around you feels like it's falling apart. How many times have you felt weak inside, even while trying to look strong on the outside? Maybe you smile at work, but inwardly, you're wrestling with insecurity. Maybe you say everything's fine, but your heart is heavy with worry. We've all faced moments like these, but David teaches us that true strength doesn't come from what's around you, money, status, or people. It comes from what's inside you: faith, courage, resilience. Napoleon Hill reinforces this with one of his most profound principles. Every adversity carries with it the seed of an equal or greater benefit. This means the crisis you're facing right now isn't the end of your story. It could be the start of your greatest transformation if you know where to find your strength. David knew this. He faced armies, betrayals, and persecution, but his fortress was rooted in one truth: God was his refuge. Picture this. You're in the middle of a storm. The wind is howling, the rain won't stop, and everything feels unstable. But inside you, there's a peace, a steadiness, a wall that no storm can tear down. That's the fortress of Psalm 27, and the best part, you can build it brick by brick every single day. How do you build your inner fortress? 1. Create a spiritual routine. Set aside at least 10 minutes each day to connect with God. Read Psalm 27. Meditate. Pray. This quiet time is like laying a brick in your inner wall. 2. Choose what feeds your mind. What you consume either builds or tears down your fortress. Avoid negative news, toxic conversations, or content that drags you down. Instead, surround yourself with words that uplift, scriptures, inspiring books, stories of overcoming. 3. Practice resilience through small actions. Every time you face a challenge, no matter how small, your fortress grows stronger. Don't wait to feel strong before acting. Strength comes through movement. 4. Trust in God's promise. David didn't rely on his own power, but on the promise that God was his strength. When you trust, you stop fighting alone and start fighting with a greater power. You don't need to be perfect to be strong. You just need to decide where to build your fortress. It's within you in faith, discipline, and trust. When your foundation is solid, no storm can knock you down. It only makes you stronger. Ready for the next step? Let's move to another powerful verse. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then I will be confident. Psalm 27:2. When we read about enemies, it's easy to picture people out to harm us. But in today's world, the biggest enemies aren't out there, they're in your mind. These invisible enemies have names you know all too well: doubt, anxiety, procrastination, fear of failure, low self-esteem. They don't come with swords or loud threats, they whisper. They convince you to give up before you even start. How many times have you had a brilliant idea but buried it because of doubt? How many times has fear of messing up stopped you from taking the first step? These are the enemies David faced, and he overcame them because he knew faith makes those enemies stumble. Napoleon Hill said, "The one who masters their own mind can conquer any reality." Your mind is the battlefield, and the great news? You have the power to decide who wins. Psalm 27 teaches us that when you stand firm, when you refuse to back down, it's the enemies that fall, not you. How do you defeat these invisible enemies? 1. Identify them. Take 5 minutes, grab a pen and write down what thoughts are sabotaging you. Be honest. Is it fear of not being good enough? Doubt that things will work out? Name those enemies. 2. Counter them with truths of faith. For every negative thought, write a truth that fights it. For example, "I'm not capable" can be answered with, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Philippians 4:13. Repeat these truths daily, like mental training. 3. Act, even when afraid. Action is the antidote to doubt. Don't wait to feel confident to start. Take one step, even a small one. Each step proves to your mind that you're stronger than the invisible enemies. David won because he refused to negotiate with doubt. Napoleon Hill succeeded because he trained his mind to focus on purpose. And you? Will you keep fighting yourself, or will you make your enemies stumble with the power of your faith? Let's keep going. We've reached one of the most challenging verses in Psalm 27. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. Psalm 27:14. Wait. That word can feel like a burden, can't it? In a world addicted to instant results, waiting feels like failure. But Psalm 27 shows us a different kind of waiting, an active waiting that doesn't deparalyze you, but strengthens you. When David says, "Wait for the Lord," he's not telling you to sit idle. He's talking about trusting while acting, keeping faith alive while building, and finding courage even when results haven't arrived. Napoleon Hill backs this up. Patience, persistence, and perspiration make an unbeatable combination for success. Success doesn't come from shortcuts. It comes from deep roots, and roots take time to grow. Think about David. He was anointed king as a young man, but waited years before taking the throne. During that time, he faced persecution, hid in caves, and endured rejection. But he didn't give up. He waited with action, prayer, and courage. That waiting prepared him to become one of history's greatest kings. How can you practice active waiting? 1. Set small, consistent goals. Big wins come from daily small actions. While you wait, build something. One small step each day keeps you moving forward. 2. Avoid comparisons. Someone else's timeline isn't yours. Don't devalue your process by obsessing over others' results. David didn't compare himself to Saul. He stayed true to his own path. 3. Strengthen your heart with words of life. Meditate daily on verses that renew you. Write them down, declare them, fill yourself with true hope. 4. Use waiting to grow. Read, study, improve. When the right moment comes, you'll be ready. Success isn't luck, it's preparation. Waiting might feel like a delay, but it's a test of readiness. God isn't withholding anything from you. He's strengthening you so that when victory comes, you'll know how to hold on to it. Wait with faith, action, and courage, because what's coming is bigger than you can imagine. Let's explore another incredible verse. One thing I ask from the Lord, this only do I seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to gaze on the beauty of the Lord and to seek him in his temple. Psalm 27:4. David was a king, a warrior, a leader, but his greatest desire wasn't power, wealth, or victories. It was intimacy with God. This reveals a profound truth. Outer strength flows from inner connection. Napoleon Hill said that all great achievements begin in the invisible, in the mind, in faith, in purpose. He believed in an infinite intelligence that guides those who connect with it. David expresses this as the pursuit of God's presence, the source of wisdom, stability, and authority. The world tells us to chase external things, more degrees, more money, more connections. But Psalm 27 shows that true strength lies within, in communion with God. It's in the quiet of prayer, the simplicity of faith, that you find the power to face any challenge. How do you cultivate this intimacy? 1. Prioritize time with God. Set aside 15 minutes daily for prayer and meditation, like a non-negotiable appointment. Give that time your full focus. 2. Shift the focus of your prayers. Instead of just asking for solutions, seek to know God more. Ask for wisdom, discernment, his presence. This changes how you see problems. 3. Learn with humility. Be open to studying the Bible, listening to teachings, and growing spiritually. The more you learn, the more prepared you become. 4. Gaze on God's beauty. See God in the details. A sunrise, an unexpected answer, a door that opens. This renews your faith. Intimacy with God doesn't just heal, it empowers. Want to be unshakable, want peace in the midst of war, then seek what David sought, God's presence. Finally, let's look at the verse that sums up courage. Though an army besiege me, my heart will not fear. Though war break out against me, even then I will be confident. Psalm 27:3. Imagine an army surrounding you, arrows aimed, shields raised. Most of us would panic. But David says, "My heart will not fear." How did he do it? With courage rooted in faith. Napoleon Hill identified 6 fears that paralyze us: poverty, criticism, illness, loss of love, old age, and death. But he said they can all be overcome with a mind trained in faith. David acknowledged the war, but anchored his confidence in a higher dimension. Courage isn't the absence of danger, it's the right posture in the face of it. How do you activate this courage? 1. Declare your trust daily. Use verses as shields. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Psalm 23:1. 2. Draw inspiration from stories of courage. Read about people who triumphed in tough times. It fuels your hope. 3. Recall past victories. Every time God delivered you before, He was preparing you for what's next. The same hand that sustained you then will sustain you now. 4. Act despite fear. Faith without action is dead. Take a bold step today, and miracles will follow tomorrow. David won because he trusted. Hill taught that mastering fear unlocks the impossible. And you? Will you let fear define you, or will you trust to the end? Your victory starts within. We've reached the end of our journey through Psalm 27, a psalm that doesn't just comfort, it awakens. David wrote it in the midst of chaos, persecution, and fear, yet he declared, "The Lord is my light and my salvation, whom shall I fear?" This isn't just a question, it's a call to courage, trust, and practical faith. Napoleon Hill taught that every achievement begins in the mind. Psalm 27 shows that the most powerful mind is one aligned with God. No matter what surrounds you, circumstances don't define you. What's inside you does. If you've made it this far, something inside you is stirring. You feel it's time to leave fear behind and live by faith. To turn waiting into strength, pain into purpose, anxiety into confidence. It all starts with a decision. To make God the center of your strength, to seek His presence, to act with courage. Here's my invitation to you. In the comments, share which verse from Psalm 27 spoke to your heart today. Declaring it strengthens your spirit. If this message moved you, share it with someone. There are people fighting silent battles, and one word can change everything. If you want more content like this, rooted in biblical wisdom and principles of growth, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This isn't empty motivation, it's faith with direction, words with purpose, courage with wisdom. You're not alone. The God of David is the same today. He is your light, your salvation, your strength. The war may rage outside, but peace has already begun within you. Let's walk this journey together. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. See you in the next video.